Okay, perfect. So, welcome everybody to First Wednesday. Each First Wednesday call is uploaded publicly to Gretchen's YouTube channel. So, and it won't be edited. So, if you don't want your image or voice on YouTube, please keep your mic muted and camera off. But we would love to have you participate. So, but that's just a little disclaimer there. And then First Wednesdays are for any coach who wants to build their coaching business. So today we're going to be talking about pointer statements. So I'll go ahead and pass it to you, Gretchen.
All right, sounds good. Well, hello, coaches. Happy August. I'm so glad to see all of you. You are my first Wednesday since all of the vacationing that was happening this summer. Just curious, how many of you got to go somewhere this summer for vacation? Anybody? All right, good deal. Good deal. Yeah, that's fun. And I know, Diana, you went somewhere really fun earlier in the year. So when you got to go for your great vacation.
Yes, and I'm on my way tomorrow to the mountains of Western Pennsylvania. That's
There
the
we go.
Lucy Bay.
There we go. So, here's one of the things that I really enjoy about being a coach. When it comes to coaching, we get to create our own businesses. And one of the things that we do is we help our clients create a created life rather than a default life. And we do that for ourselves as well. Something that was really important to me when I got into coaching was to make sure that I was able to take time off to really be with my family, to do some of the hobbies that I have, and to do great service for my clients. And so, for all of you, when you think about getting into this coaching world and the different pieces of what it means to you, I want everyone to think about this for 1 minute, and then we're going to get into these pointer statements. But what is your why for becoming a coach? Part of it for me was freedom, freedom for myself and my life and for serving others to the highest level. What was it for you that really motivated you to become a coach?
For me, people have come up to me for years now and asked questions, and I help them solve problems. And so even though I've done that in my professional life, I figured I might as well do this full time now.
Yeah.
And get paid.
Yeah, that's right. Good. Who else? What was a motivator for you?
I was actually going to be a therapist at one point in time, back in my bachelor's degree years, and I ended up joining the army. Everything switched around, and coaching is a happy middle ground for me.
Oh, I'm really glad to hear that. And welcome. This is my first time meeting you, Hugo. I'm so glad that you're here.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Mickey, I saw your hand.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody has, in my mom's words, like a God-given gift or something when they're growing up. Some people can sing, some people can, are very athletic and whatnot. And something that always struck me is that my skill that I've always really just had is I'm a very good cheerleader for other people's passions. I really feel energized when I'm listening to somebody talk about their goals and their dreams and and I can spend hours doing it with somebody, and this career path just fits so perfectly in that energizing part of it for me, where I can spend I can really invest in just cheerleading somebody's goals but actually helping them achieve them, and that's very validating and satisfying for me.
Thank you for sharing that. Edward.
The word you used was freedom, but I use the words independence and flexibility from my experience. So similar, just different synonyms.
Yeah. I appreciate everybody sharing, and thank you so much. I like to start with this because for all of you, that's your own pointer statement for why you do this. And tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to write some pointer statements for our client creation to help you to be able to see who your clients are. But even that little nuance right there of what Edward said, that mine was freedom and his was flexibility and independence, they might mean similar things, but they're different to each of us. What I might mean by it could be something different than what he means by it, or it could be the same, but the power of our words is important and the intention behind them. So with all of you, with your pointer statement of what made you become a coach, what is your real reason? It's important for you to know, because that's going to help us to decide who do you want to reach out to and connect? You know, we only have so much time to walk this world and to do this life and to see clients. And so when you're thinking about that too, it's really important that we know who we like to serve, that we know who we enjoy being around, that we know what's exciting to us as far as connections go, because not every client is your client, not every potential client. Could you coach them? Of course, we can coach anybody. That's what you're taught in coaching school. But just because you can, it doesn't always necessarily mean that you should. And so for newer coaches, I know that this can be a interesting concept. It's kind of like that catch-22, because it's like, but I want some paid clients, so I will coach anybody. And yeah, go ahead in the beginning, but as you get good at this and as client creation becomes easier for you, you are going to get choosy. And I want it to be really clear to you of, who are my clients? How do I know that it's a client? How do I know that this is someone that I can work with? But it really all starts with, what got you into this? Why are you interested in it? What's your why for doing it? Because our motivation is going to be the thing that then can point us to what we're motivated by. Does that make sense to everybody? Yeah. Anyone have anything they want to add to that, or maybe share your why about what got you into coaching before we get started? Someone who hasn't shared yet.
Diana said in the chat, freedom, autonomy, showing my highest self.
Love it. Thank you, Diana.
So pretty much what everybody said, the freedom, you know, just having that autonomy to make my own schedule. And it's been a gift, like same thing what some others said. But I think too, what I'm even learning during doing my practice clients and coaching since I'm new, is I'm learning a lot about myself. And it's helping me so that I can be better to help others, lift others up.
And the lifting others up, that's really what hit me and what you just said. So if you're unsure of your reason for coaching and getting into this industry, I want you to really spend some time during this call, after this call, thinking about it. And not just thinking about it with your head space, but thinking about it with your heart space, because they're different. You know, they're really different reasons. And figuring out for you, what makes this worth it? Because you could do anything with your life. And, you know, coaching is one where we are always selling and we are always serving, and you have to be good at both in order to have a successful business. And sometimes when that's difficult, it's coming back to your own why that can help you keep going and not give up. Okay. All right. So let's talk about these pointer statements. I love pointer statements. And what I mean by a pointer statement is, if you think of an arrow, I'm using my finger as an arrow. If you think of an arrow, your pointer statement is something that can guide you to know, that's my client. Oh, yep, it's that one in the room. Oh yeah, there she is, there he is over there. What happens again is, you know, coaches can coach anybody. We can coach people that we don't know a thing about their industry. They earn more than us. They're smarter than us. Maybe they're even more interesting than us. Who knows? It doesn't matter. But we can coach them all based on what we've all learned at coaching school. And many of you, it looks like, were students where I taught. So I taught you all about coaching. And for those of you that I didn't, that's okay too. But we all did learn you can coach anybody. Now, while that is great and it gives us unlimited freedom about who we can coach, it also can feel rather paralyzing, because who can we coach, right? So it's both things. It's like, I can coach anyone, and where are they? Who are they? What am I supposed to do about that? So tonight, what we're going to do is we're going to laser focus, and we're going to get really clear about who you can coach and why you would coach them. All right. And that's going to help you then, so that when you're out there in the world, it just makes it easier for you with those connections. Now, there's a lot of benefit in having a specialty so that you can spot your ideal clients. And the thing that you want to think about is where you're putting your energy. So most of you have heard me talk about, I don't really believe in a niche, and I don't, you know, because we can coach anybody. But I do believe in thinking about the things that you are interested in or your own specialty. So for me, I had a background in business and I had a background in communications and public relations. It was very easy for me to coach corporations and executives and entrepreneurs, because I already knew something about that. Now in coaching, we're not advising, we're not consulting. So what does it matter that I knew those things? It made me more comfortable. That's really what mattered. I really understood what the client was going through. I really understood their questions when they would ask them. And so for you right now, I want you all kind of to think of your own specialties. You know, some of the coaches that I've coached, maybe it's Reiki, maybe they are a therapist. Some of them knew something about divorce. Some of them knew something about foster care. Some of them knew about ADHD. What is it for you? What is like a unique specialty to you that you have, you know, that might be a good pointer? You know, I know Mark on here, for him, it's career. He's got a lot of that. Edward has the entertainment industry and those sorts of things under his belt that he can do. Diana, she works with white leaders to help them with any aggressions that they might be having in the workplace and really help with some of the diversity. So think about it. You know, Mickey, he's an artist. How does he do that? So what are the different things that make you special? And I see here Shan says design background. So just write a few of them down. And then as you have some of these and you feel comfortable sharing, feel free to unmute or drop them in the chat. But what are some of the specialties that you have?
For me, it's dealing with people suffering with PTSD, vicarious trauma, compassion fatigue, because of my background in law enforcement, as a private investigator, working with attorneys. All these industries are people who help others and they see a lot. And once you go through those situations, you can never get it out of your mind.
Yeah.
So I understand all that.
Yeah. And I really love that you're leaning on your background to be able to think about this as well. Nick, do you want to unmute?
Sure.
Hi.
Hi, good to see you. So I just wrote, I spent 20 years in tech and I know that world well. I fit into that world. I've worked with a lot of the people forever. The corporate world has its own way of thinking and doing things, both as a business, but also as people and how they perceive the world. And so I think I can bring that to my clients.
Yeah, good. Mark, what about you?
Well, you already knew about the career stuff. I really am working with a lot of people in transition from either it's, change of life, empty nesters. I really want to retire, but don't know how to do that. And we talk through the process. The other thing that I'm getting a bunch of referrals from is I'm stressed out because there's too much on my plate. So we sit down and organize and prioritize. And then they tell somebody else and I have a new client.
That's right. That's right. Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you, everybody, for your sharing and for your participation tonight. So all of you gave some version of problem solving, something that you know about, and it's not that we are going to problem solve for our client, but oftentimes our clients live in a world that we could problem solve for. Does that make sense? So while coaching isn't problem solving, we know something about that world. And if we needed to, we could solve that problem, but we coach them instead. And the reason that that works is that during your connection calls, you're going to know something about their world in a different way. You will be able to talk to them about their world in a different way than someone who has not been in that world or hasn't been touched in that world can. So when coaches come to me to talk about building their businesses, I'm really able to understand it and to listen deeply. And I know what I'm listening for. I also know the common trends. I know the common tendencies of new coaches or coaches that have been at it a while but aren't earning what they want to. And I understand it. And so there's a piece there that when we're creating our pointer statements, you think of something that you really know about and that you can solve for. And that's a good pointer statement to where some of your clients might be. Let me just pause there for a minute. What are you hearing, or what questions do you have? Anyone want to share?
I'm hearing that once you know what your three things together, once you know your own strengths, who your clients are, and what problem you're solving, and I think that's the main thing. What are you there for? What's your why? What's their why?
Yes.
Like your pointer statement.
Yeah. Yeah. And then it's just going to help you because, again, okay, we have this umbrella concept of we can coach anybody. And that can feel both like, wow, I can coach anybody, and it can feel scary. I can coach anybody, but I don't know anybody, or I don't know what I'm supposed to say to these people that I'm supposed to coach. And since I can coach everybody, it feels too big. The other thing that happens is when people say, well, who should I be sending to you? Or who do you like to work with? If you don't know, if you cannot give this concise pointer statement, they have no idea who to send you. So you can do a number of pointer statements. That's the other thing. We're not just saying that you only work with this kind of person, but have a few of them ready. So one of the ones that I like to use for me is that I work with A-type personalities who struggle with anxiety and they're always on the go. That's who I work with. Those are the kinds of people. Now, I didn't necessarily say coaches, although I could put that into a pointer statement. But what I know is that almost everybody that I work with is some sort of an A-type personality. They are a little bit anxious and they're doing, or thinking. So that's easier for people to understand than, well, I coach people who are up to big things in the world. I coach people to make a difference in their lives. I coach people to help them bridge the gap from where they are to where they want to go. I coach people who want to up level. That's all true, and nobody knows anybody like that. Nobody knows. When you say, well, I coach people who want to up level, nobody knows what that means. But if I tell you I coach A-type anxious people, half of you are those people, and the other half of you know someone who's like that, right? And so for you right now, I want you to think about, just so that you can get a clear picture for your own pointer statement, what are the qualities of your ideal client? When we think about that from that specialty that you wrote down, what are their qualities? So for me, it's anxious, A-type, driven, go-getter, overworked, always on. What are some of those qualities of the person that you're thinking about? Remember, both positive and not necessarily, it doesn't have to be a negative, but it could be something that they could use some work on. Being always on is very helpful for people, and it can hurt them all at the same time. So think of both sides of it. And it's like, what are their traits?
All right, I'll go. So very similar to you, I'm a very A-type personality, or just, really driven. I'm a driven person. So similar to you, it's the people that are similar to that. I noticed in my coaching sessions, there's been one person that is not that way. And it's painful. And they're constantly looking for me to advise them and this and that, which is good practice, right? And I'm learning, but yeah, definitely people that really, they might be stuck, but they know like they want to get somewhere. It's just they need that someone to hold their hand, but yeah, definitely high energy, has to have a high energy and just really engage in the process and not looking for someone to just, tell them what to do.
So Linda, I love what you did there. So for everyone, I want you to see this nuance. She really could say the qualities, the character traits, personality traits of the people that she likes to work with. And she partly knows because of a person that she's not enjoying working with quite as much. That's how we all, for the most part, learn who we really like to work with, is you get a few people that you're like, oh, wow, And you're not that interested in that personality trait. And this is how we learn who we really can serve to the highest level. And the reason that I really like to go over this at length is because you need to be able to describe this person to me like they're your friend. So if I were to say, you know, I work with ambitious, driven, goal-oriented, action-oriented people who are positive, you can see that person. It's like, oh, you can picture them. But if it's just, I work with people who are always on the go, it's not enough. So you always want to make sure that your list is really inclusive. And I do add something in there too about, and their Achilles heel is that they're always on, or their Achilles heel is their anxiety. But you want to have both sides, because this is where for you, when you meet somebody, or for when you're asking somebody to refer you, this is going to help point them to who should come your way. So let's just pause here for a minute. I'd love to hear from some more of you about who you work with. Who do you serve?
I've wrote a few options down for myself.
Yeah.
I enjoy working with people who have energy and drive, but they've arrived at a place where they don't really know where to place their focus next. Or people who really want to get things right, but are unsure about the next step. And then the last one was people who are willing to face their biggest challenges in order to reach their goals.
Okay. How does that feel?
I think they're getting there. The third one, I don't like the second half of it, but I like the idea of working with, you know, people who are willing to essentially do the work and look inward. But I feel like that might be a second thing to say.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. And so you're going to keep working on it. Thank you for sharing it. Edward and then Mickey.
Great. Great question. I like to work with service-oriented visionaries and doers who are currently feeling isolated, stuck, and frustrated.
Thank you. Mickey.
I like that a lot. I work with very creative-minded people who are highly motivated, very self-aware, and in touch with their emotions. But they have eggs in a lot of baskets, and they're having difficulty sort of prioritizing how to do all the things they love.
Having difficulty not scrambling their eggs. Yeah, heard that. Diana.
I work with leaders who are invested and whose work and values center around equity, diversity, democracy, justice, who have an analysis but haven't had a lot of practice and get into trouble or are afraid of getting into trouble because of their difficulty communicating across difference.
Nice. Thank you. Shan.
Ambitious, creative, intelligent, driven, demanding, action-oriented people that want to get more out of life, and they're hard on themselves. They are stressed out a lot, and they're juggling a lot.
Nice. I can really see and feel your person. Now, here's the other thing that you can do, because sometimes this helps. Everyone have your paper or whatever it is that you're typing on in front of you, and write down my clients are. My clients are stressed, anxious, ambitious. Write it that way, and let's see what happens for you if it's becoming more clear.
I just have a quick question.
Yeah.
So I know that you serve a lot of coaches, but you don't necessarily say that in your marketing. If I want to work with women, is it better not to say it specifically so as not to close it off to potential men as well?
That's a really good question. You know, in the beginning, I thought that I would only coach women, but the truth is 70% of my practice is men. So you would be surprised that it will matter less to you about their gender and more about their personality and the traits.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I think you'll end up being really surprised. I know that I certainly was. I thought, oh, I'm just going to coach women and this and that. No, I coach a lot of men. But one of your pointer statements could be, I work with this type of woman who does this type of thing, and that would be okay too. So it's like your overall umbrella is these types of people that we're talking about, the my clients are statement. And then as we get deeper, you could do one, you know, just like I could do one coaches, you could do one that has to do with women, but always put the personality traits in there.
Do you think you need to be an executive to coach executives, to coach
No.
business? Do you think you need to be a business coach for business coaching?
Do you need to be a business coach for business coaching, meaning being trained as a business coach to do business
Like,
coaching?
if you want to go into the business side versus the life coaching side, do you feel that you need to come from a very corporate America background?
No, I don't feel like I think that you can very much learn it and that it's okay either way. Remember, coaching is coaching and the fundamentals of business coaching and life coaching are exactly the same.
Thank you.
Great question. And Nick, I saw you kind of making some feedback on that. Did you want to add to that?
No, I was just agreeing with what you said, that
Yeah.
no, you can coach anyone or learn it. In fact, I think sometimes working with business people, they have more problems, and the same types of problems, but more of them sometimes because they're so busy on their career and not anything else.
Yeah. Okay, does everybody have a few of my clients are? All right, now the second part of it is who struggle with. Okay, so my clients are A-type personalities who struggle with moving too fast, doing too many things and never resting. So you see how that even made it different there. So what you want to do is if you have a lot of the my clients are in one bucket who struggle with in another bucket, you can change the struggle at any time. So let's say that I'm talking about coaching. My clients are A-type overachievers. My clients who I coach are A-type overachievers who struggle with business development, finding clients, and charging. Okay, that could be in the coaching bucket. Now let's do it for another program I have for women. My clients are A-type overachievers who struggle with feeling guilt about overworking when they have kids at home, who never feel like they're doing enough, and who have this idea that they should be able to run the PTA and the boardroom. So you can change your struggles. I did run the PTA and the boardroom, by the way, but you know, you can change your struggles, but your my clients are will stay the same. Ask a question. If you have a question, make a comment there. Okay, so most of you know I really love partner exercises. Olivia, do we have some breakout rooms available? All right, you're going to go into breakout rooms. And how many people are in each breakout room?
2 to 3.
2 to 3. Okay. I'm going to give you 12 minutes in total. If you're a group of 3, you'll have 4 minutes. If you're a group of 6, you have 6 minutes each. And you're going to go back and forth on my clients are and they struggle with. And you really want to make it conversational. Person listening, poke holes in it. Tell them how to make it better. Really make sure that you understand who the person is. Can you picture somebody in your life that you could refer them to? If you can't, they need to keep going with it. All right, so your job as the listener is to make sure, like, could you identify somebody? Oh yeah, I know, it's my neighbor, it's this person, it's that person. If not, it's not enough of a picture yet. It's not enough of a pointer statement. So it's the my clients are my, and they struggle with. That's what you're doing in this breakout. Any questions before you go in there?
Yes. Can you please give us maybe another example of things that clients struggle with? I just want to get out of my head a little
Sure.
bit.
Tell me who your clients are.
So they are people that are ambitious, creative, intelligent, driven, demanding. They want more out of life, and they're stressed out, juggling many different things, and they're hard on themselves.
Okay. My clients are ambitious and demanding overachievers who struggle with being too hard on others and themselves, perfectionism, and always being on. Something like that?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. So that's what you're doing. And I can think of who I know that's like that. So we want to make sure that the person that you're saying this to, you're not done until the person goes, yep, I know somebody. Okay. Go and have fun with this. 12 minutes. Breakout rooms are going to be open. Everyone will pop in here in just a second.
We just have 4 more people and I should be back in here in the next 5 seconds.
Okay, give me some feedback about what you figured out and how that was for you.
I'll give you mine.
Yeah.
My clients are stressed, anxious, indecisive, procrastinators, and perfectionists in transition who struggle with not getting anything done because they can't make a decision and they can't move forward. And I don't like dealing with those type of people because I can't sit there and say, and so what else can you tell me about that? What else? I just want to go like, okay, here's what you need to do. You need to do A, B, C, and D, which is not coaching, it's consulting. So this is very difficult for me.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. You know, for you though, it sounds like you did get some more clarity about who you enjoy and who you do not enjoy. Yeah. And that other piece too of remembering your edge of what coaching is and what coaching isn't. And you know, Lena, the other thing too is for people who really do want to tell more than coach, you can say that you're coach and consult. And that's the loophole. If that's something that for you, but remember, there really is some power first in coaching the person and helping them get to the bottom of what it is that they think.
Thank you.
Yeah. Who else? How was this exercise of being with your partner and really saying my client is, and this is what they struggle with? What kind of clarity did you get? What did you realize? Anyone get a referral because yours was so good?
I really appreciate how, clearly there were 3 of us in a room and we all come from different, experiences in our lives. And so what's obvious to me isn't to them. And so that really helped force me to clarify what I meant by, X or whatever. So it was a good exercise.
Yeah, good. Who else?
My client is an ambitious leader that's an overachiever that struggles with always being stressed out, unable to enjoy the journey, and want to get more out of life. And they struggle with getting things out the door as a result of perfectionism.
Nice. What kind of feedback did you all get from your peers as you were doing this exercise? Mark?
So the feedback that I got was some critical words that I might use to clarify that I hadn't thought of. And I also ended up reflecting back some of the things, basically what I heard, and she was struggling with getting the right verb or grammar or word that described it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think it was really the specificity, similarly to what was just said before, because we focus on such different types of clients and come from such different backgrounds, like the specificity with which I have to express to you the kind of person I'm trying to help. I know exactly who it is in my head, but if you don't know that kind of person, then like there's no way you're going to understand what I'm saying. And I think it actually sent me back to the drawing board by the end of the thing, where I have to like kind of refigure it out because the ideas were too good for me to put into what I had already built.
Sure. And so what I'd love to ask all of you to do is to share this in the Coaching for Coaches group. You know, go back and play with these and build upon them and then go into the Coaching for Coaches group. Olivia, if you can just drop that link for anyone who hasn't joined, that would be great. And share it there and let people comment. You know, you guys can tag each other in the group as well. Hugo, do you want to share? I see that you've shared some things in chat.
Yeah, so I was using a lot of jargon, and the people that I've talked to, that they've helped me reach there, but I like what I ended up with today, which was my clients are disciplined, motivated, and open to learning about themselves. My clients struggle with making decisions, expressing the value of themselves, communicating value, and leading others, and have blocked creativity.
There you go. Yeah. And it's often in the part that feels quote unquote negative that people go, oh, I know someone. It's usually not in the positive. It's almost always in the negative when it's like, yeah, they're blocked here, they're this way, they're that way, they struggle with that, that people are like, oh, you got to talk to X, Y, and Z. Edward.
What are your thoughts about using titles in who you try to reach?
So tell me, how are you seeing it? Like, what are you thinking about?
Great, because you know, Shannon, when I mentioned my little spiel here, I didn't mention the titles as I've been working on it, but I'd love to share what I had, and you've heard a little bit of it. You know, so I'm most known for helping service-oriented visionaries and operators motivate and inspire their teams. The folks I can help the most are general managers, VPs, and founders, especially in the hospitality industry. They struggle with feeling isolated, exhausted, and stuck, trying to lead and keep great people in their highly competitive and struggling industry.
Nice.
It's a lot. I mean, I would use more an email, and rather than my 10-second spiel, I would edit that. But I mean, I think that if I put general managers, VPs, and founders, it's much more specific that people can say, I know who you want to work with.
Really specific, you know, and so that's the thing, is that you can 100% put something in or not. I like to get people doing really good first with my client struggles with, and then the end of your pointer can be the part, and they are this kind of person, they are this kind of title. And so when I do it, I like to, you know, they're ambitious people, they're struggling with this, and it's coaches, and it's women, and it's business executives. But that's the way that you do the pointer statement, is that it's going to have all of those different parts depending on who the person is that you're talking to. And so thank you, Edward. And this is going to help you too, so that when you walk into a room, you know who you're looking for. You're not looking for the person that doesn't know how to make a decision. You're not looking for the person who, whatever it is, these are the kinds of people that I work with. Oh, you know, I like this guy, but he's not very ambitious. It's probably not my client. He's probably just a nice guy, you know, whatever that might be. So this is the way that we do it.
Great. Thank you.
You got it. Okay.
Gretchen, I have a quick question.
Sure.
What would you like for us to share in the Coaching for Coaches group?
Yeah, go back and rework on these answers, you know, of what we did today. The my client is and my client struggles with. Olivia, I'm wondering, can you do a post in the Coaching for Coaches that just asks for that, so that people remember? That would be great. And just put it there, because that will be wonderful. And then people can comment with, oh, okay, I really can see who this person is. So we'll kind of rate it of, did I think of somebody? Did this answer make me think of somebody? And then maybe people have something that they want to add.
Great. Got it. Thanks.
Yeah. All right.
So Gretchen, I have a quick question that I don't know, I'm sure it relates to all this, but one of the things when Lita and I were working with each other, we both have vulnerable populations that we know could really use our service, but they don't have money. So one of the things I was thinking is that I know there are organizations or nonprofits that maybe would hire us to talk to coach. So I just wanted to get anyone's thoughts on that and what are creative ways.
Anyone have any thoughts on that or a question to ask?
I saw Edward nod his head.
Great. Linda, what I heard, Linda, is that you're redefining your client as, instead of serving the people who don't have the resources, your new client are people who serve those individuals. So maybe that's your new marketing, demographic. We help, service providers who help these individuals, maybe, as an example.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Very good.
I love it when coaches are helping coaches. All right, everybody. So I would love to hear your takeaways. What did you get from this evening? What did you learn? What did you learn about pointer statements?
One thing that I learned is that my background in higher education seeps through, and that I need to use less academic language, otherwise people won't know what I'm talking about. And that my pointer statement actually tonight got cleaner than it has been.
Yeah, good. Edward.
Going through this exercise, what I realized is that my pointer statement points to a previous version of myself.
Yes, ding, ding, ding. Usually we coach a previous version of who we are. Anyone else? Takeaway from tonight? Mark.
Very simply, it helped me crisp up my message, because I have to do this every week in my BNI networking group. And now I have more clarity about what to say.
I think it really helped me realize how I've been merging a few different types of clients into one. And this pointer statement sort of gives me a clean idea of the fact that, like, this kind of client is not the same as this other kind of client I work with, and I need to be specific in the ways that I articulate them. They're not all the same.
Yeah, good. And that's where it's like the personality type my clients is usually the same. The struggle might be different of what's really specific to them in their industry. All right, everybody. It was so good seeing all of you tonight. Really happy for this nice turnout, and check in on the Coaching for Coaches page. The link has been dropped, and if you have any questions or you need anything, please feel free to reach out.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a great night.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.